If God is one, why does he speak in so many voices? Why does the Christian see a trinity, the Muslim see only oneness, the Hindu see millions of deities, and the Buddhist see none at all? Can they all be true? Or are we trapped in a beautifully designed illusion, an illusion called faith so deeply embedded, we never stop to ask, why do our truths clash? Today we're stepping into the fire, a question that mystics dare to whisper but institutions fear to answer. If all religions lead to God, why do they contradict each other so much? This isn't just about religion, it's about truth, identity, psychology, war, peace, and the future of our collective soul. Before we debate contradictions, we need to ask, what does it mean when we say a religion is true? Truth has layers: literal truth, symbolic truth, experiential truth, and moral truth. Is the story of Adam and Eve literally true? Or is it a metaphor for human consciousness, desire, and the birth of self? Is Krishna an actual blue-skinned being? Or is he a representation of cosmic playfulness, divine joy, and the inner guide? The question isn't just, is it true? The deeper question is, in what way is it true? Most conflicts arise because people mistake metaphor for fact, symbol for history, myth for literal event. When we reduce poetry to politics, sacredness to tribalism, we lose the very essence of spiritual wisdom. Let's look at a few examples. Christianity says Jesus is the only way. Islam says Muhammad is the final messenger. Hinduism embraces thousands of gods, yet also speaks of one supreme consciousness. Buddhism often avoids the idea of a creator altogether. How can these all be valid? Look beneath the surface, and a pattern begins to emerge. At their mystical core, each religion points toward transcendence of the ego, unity with a greater force, compassion as a virtue, detachment from material illusion. Rumi, the Sufi mystic, said, beyond right and wrong, there is a field, I'll meet you there. That field is what mystics from all traditions reach for. It is not the form of religion, but its function, and that function is transformation. Here's a radical idea. Maybe God didn't create religion. Maybe humans did. Let's turn to the deserts of Arabia, the forests of India, the icy cathedrals of Europe. Religion wasn't born in a vacuum. It was forged in the heat of politics, war, geography, and survival. In tribal cultures, gods were warriors. In agricultural societies, they became harvesters. In philosophical civilizations, God became an abstract principle. As societies evolved, so did their gods. This doesn't make religion false, it makes it human. An evolving language attempting to describe the individual. And in each age, God appeared in the shape people needed. A protector, a father, a mother, a lawgiver, a friend. Carl Jung once said, religion is a defense against the experience of God. Let that sink in. Our minds crave certainty, and religion often provides it. Rules, stories, rituals, but spiritual experience is often terrifyingly uncertain. It dissolves the ego. It shatters identity. It burns away the self you thought you were. So we build temples and doctrines to contain God, to tame the wild force of the infinite. Neuroscience reveals how belief systems are tied to reward circuits. We feel safe when our worldview is confirmed. This means we don't just believe in religion. We need to believe in something. And often, we defend our beliefs more fiercely than our lives. Religion is not just spiritual, it's political. Kings claimed divine right. Dictators quoted holy texts. Entire empires were built not just with swords, but crusades were launched in Jesus' name. Caliphates expanded under banners of unity and conquest. Even Buddhism, often seen as peaceful, was used to justify war in medieval Japan. The contradiction. The same scriptures that speak of peace are used to justify violence. Why? Because religion, in the hands of power, becomes more than belief. It becomes a tool to control, a tool to divide, a tool to rule. Let's ask another dangerous question. Did religion emerge to connect us to God or to control us? Take the concept of hell, eternal punishment for finite sins. Is that divine justice or social obedience? Ancient rulers used fear of the afterlife to enforce moral codes, but fear is not transformation. Fear is domestication. Contrast that with the teachings of the Buddha or Lao Tzu, guidance without damnation. Maybe the contradictions arise not because of the divine, but because of human agendas embedded within the divine language. Maybe the contradictions are intentional. Maybe they're meant to provoke us, to stop us from ever settling into one story. Zen Buddhism uses koans, paradoxical riddles that break logic and awaken deeper awareness. What is the sound of one hand clapping? It makes no sense, until something inside you shifts. Perhaps the contradictions between religions are global koans, puzzles given to humanity, not to argue over, but to awaken through. Each contradiction is an invitation to question our assumptions. Each paradox is a doorway to inner revolution. Science demands repeatability, religion demands faith. Science looks for proof, religion seeks meaning. Are they opposites, or two sides of the same coin? Quantum physics now speaks in language once reserved for mystics. Non-locality, entanglement, observer effect. These sound strangely familiar to the Taoist philosophy. to Sufi poetry. Maybe science and religion aren't enemies. Maybe they are lovers arguing over the same mystery in different languages, and the contradictions. Maybe they are clues or not, failures on the path to unity. So if all religions are true, but they contradict each other, what should we believe? Believe in the quest, believe in the mystery, believe in the light that flickers behind every ritual, every hymn, every whispered prayer, because truth isn't a static sentence. It's a living experience, and God is not a belief to argue over. God is an invitation to awaken, to love, to see. Subscribe if this made you think. Comment your thoughts below. Which contradiction shocked or inspired you most? And remember, the deepest truths don't divide us, they dissolve us, so we can remember what we are. Not Christians, Muslims, Hindus, or atheists, but seekers walking home under different stars, guided by the same mystery.